First thing that I really noticed when I opened Paint Shop Pro X7 was my materials palette. It looks so different. When I opened it, the colours, I had no idea what these little harmony buttons were for, but if we select these, Paint Shop Pro will select colours that are nicely compatible with our selection. So that was neat. Texture looks pretty much the same, pattern pretty much the same, but it was gradients that I just took one look and thought, oh my goodness. When you look for a little while, everything's pretty much as it used to be, just maybe a little clearer to see in one quick glance. Linear, all of these settings are still there for our varying choices with our gradients. Invert, center point, focal point, all of that's still the same. Today I'm really wanting just to work with making a new gradient. So this little section I can close simply by clicking on the arrow, and in here more options. Resource Manager is good to take note of, because once we select a gradient in here, we have the option to delete it, rename it, copy it, or move it. So good to note that one too. When we get down to our actual gradient and making a new gradient, on the top of our gradient bar we have our transparency markers, and on the bottom we have our colour markers. As previously, we have a choice of using foreground background colours, which I seldom do, mainly because once an image has been saved using these, when we reuse it, it will automatically take on the colours that are currently selected in your materials palette, so not what we really want. I'll use the custom colours for my colour markers. We do have a delete button here as well, so if you have selected a gradient that you really don't want, you can delete it by clicking on that button. At the moment I'm wanting to add a new gradient, so hit our little plus sign and give our gradient a name. And as you can see, I've already been playing. This one I did earlier, and in it I wanted to make the centre section semi-transparent. So I've used my transparency markers, moved them from the outside edges into the area that I wish to have transparent, popped in a new marker, and then changed the opacity for that new marker to 25, and that's our end result. We can do lots and lots of wonderful things with our gradients. Now back to our gradient that we're about to make. I want to make a night skyline gradient that I can use over and over, whether I put a country scene on there or a city one. Doesn't really matter, but I just want that background that I can just pop in with a quick flood fill. So we start with our custom marker down the bottom, and you'll notice as soon as I click on that, that the little triangle at the top is black. That's because it's been selected. And then I go to my custom colour, and I'm going to set blue there, but I want almost black, so there we have it. Next marker will take on the same colour until I change the colours, which now I'll go for blue and a darker blue, one more darker, almost black. And now this last one, just to show you something else that's a little different, I'll highlight it, and then when I hover my mouse over the colour that I want to select, you can see that little black arrow there that will add that colour to the selected marker. So that's good to know too. Just going to move these back so I've got a little bit more blue. Your diamonds are your midpoint markers, and they are in between your two selected colours, and they blend your colours nicely. For this skyline, I want rather a sharp blend between the black and then the blue. So to do that, I can simply move that marker or sit my two markers almost one on top of the other. Either way, we get that nice sharp result. I'm going to move this one up just a little bit more, and that looks pretty okay. You can view it. There's your current view down there, and I'm happy enough with that. Okay, and save it. Yes. There. Now we'll just bring this up and flood fill, and there we have a lovely skyline. Always effects that we can use. Love effects. There, we can put some stars in the skyline. Now that's a really easy way to make a gradient, and so many variations that you can experiment with too. Enjoy!